Get my 6. Especially here, because you never know who or what might come charging out of these woods at this specific location. Let me show you an image of something that came charging out of these woods at this specific location during a night hunt that we've got on video on this channel from about 6 weeks or so ago. Here's the image blown up. Have a look. Talk about eye shine. That's an understatement, isn't it? It looked like the thing had like headlights for eyeballs. So I'm going to try to sift through the nearly 1,200. Yeah, I see it. Look at, get my 6 straight back. Okay, you're 12, my do 6. Watch it and see if it moves. A couple of them looks like. I'm going to go through and see if I can find that night hunt video and put it at the end of this video when the other videos pop up as recommended viewing. This is another image that was sent in from our friend and viewer, Brittany. She enlarged it. Is it Bigfoot Sasquatch? I don't know. It sure was creepy looking. So guys, I'm going to be candid with you here, and I've got another image for you. I've got several images. I'm going through them. Across my leg. I'm sitting in a chair, as you can tell. I've already made this video for today, not the one you're watching. I mean, obviously I did, and I've uploaded it and I've published it, or you wouldn't be watching it. But this is the second time I've done this. Sounded like something barking, but not a dog. I already made a video, and it was about 20 minutes long, but I deleted it, and I'm not going to upload it. And I'm up here doing it again, and I'm talking about what what I had intended to talk about, which are these images. But I'm a little bit out of sorts because I just, I spent my afternoon with a good friend of mine. He's one of my best friends, and he just found out. Well, he's just got some really bad, like double whammy, 2 pieces of bad news, and like just a period of a couple of days apart. One, he just found out that just yesterday, one of his best friends died, a guy that was 58 in seemingly perfect health. He was an active individual. He wasn't, associated with the current pandemic. Just died. It sounds like he hasn't had it confirmed yet, but it kind of sounds like heart attack. His buddy's wife called him, and she was just so upset she couldn't even get all the specifics and the details out. And at a time like that, I'll tell you, the closer it gets to dark, the more active this stuff up here gets. So anyway, that's one. But then the other bit of news is, on top of that, just like the day before that, my friend found out he has cancer. And so he told me today, and, he doesn't watch my videos, and nobody that watches him knows him. I was talking yesterday in the video I made, the first video I made about these disturbing images that were submitted by a viewer. I was talking about how those of us who create content for social media actually are real people, on the inside of the screen. We have real lives outside of this. This is one of my real life flesh and blood friends out here. When I told him that I was a YouTuber, he didn't really understand because he's in his 70s. He's like, "What's that?" I'm like, told him. He laughed. And we moved on to other things. But this brings me to the next picture, and it's a recap of the picture that I showed yesterday that had the white boy in it, and I want to thank so many of you for your suggestions and for your advice and what you thought, because I've kind of always, without speaking the words, kind of felt the same as well. But I guess the white boy who is in the picture I'm getting ready to show you, if you missed yesterday's, count the circles over from the right. It's the third over from the right. It's the only entity that is circled twice. Brittany had circled it in either pink or blue. I circled it with blaze orange, and then I have 2 arrows pointing at it. White boy, who we see in the image from a video I made just about a week or so ago, actually first visited me in a dream when I was 4. So I'm not going to recap all that. You'll have to go watch yesterday's video for that really amazing story. But today, I don't necessarily, well, I want to address all the other entities that you'll see circled. So don't pay so much attention to White Boy. Go ahead and pause. When the image comes up here in a second, pause it and look at all the other entities. We're going to talk about them. Have a look at that now. All right, so here's the deal. Everybody's asking, what are all these other entities? Are they malevolent? Are they benevolent? Are they aliens? Some people have suggested they're aliens. I don't know. I mean, I use him, her, it, or they for a reason, because I don't know. I mean, if I knew what these things were, if I knew what they weren't, I'd at least state that so we could rule them out. Are they all some sort of Bigfoot, Sasquatch? Are they the Fae people? Are they interdimensional beings? Are they from another world? Are they from our world, but we can't see them? Are they just on the other side of the veil? Who knows? Oh, and this is really interesting. I wish I could remember this young lady's name. I'd give her a shout out. But she mentioned, she saw the images, and she mentioned that she was, I can't even remember the word. It's a big word. I should have written it down and brought it up if I was going to mention it. But it had something to do with, starts with a T. Her eyes, and this is a minority of people, they have eyes that can actually see more spectrums of light than the rest of human beings' eyes. And so she said that, like, she often sees, entities in the background of my videos and other videos she watches and out there in the real world, but she's always hesitant to mention it or to even leave a comment about it because, of course, the vertically challenged individuals who live under bridges will jump on her and call her bad names for it. But what it is she can see things the rest of us can't because her eyes can pick up more spectrums of light. And but when you do what you do to the images that Brittany did to the image I just showed you, these things show up. So now, here, what are they? Well, I don't know, and I can't really speak to them at this time. We might figure it out. We're going to bring a shaman. I'm not bringing anybody. People are always like, call the Bigfoot Sasquatch people, call this group, call that group, call this person I watch on YouTube, they do this. No. Whatever's here, again, I've said this a million times, I do not feel threatened by it. I know White Boy is here with me. White Boy's had my back since I was a kid, back in the 1970s. Other entities have my back. I have my back. My family has my back. I don't feel threatened by anything that's here in any way. And I know that nothing that is here feels threatened by me or my family. So I'm not about to bring anyone, any individual, or any group of individuals here that may threaten their feeling of safety. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. People say, well, if that's there, why haven't you called this person? Why? I don't need them. Okay, so, but here's what I want to speak to. In time, and if you guys have any ideas about what these things are, I'd love your ideas. That's where I get so much of the best advices from people who watch these videos religiously, for lack of a better word, and put in your 2 cents because you figured out a lot of the mysteries around here with your 2 cents, and you'll probably figure out some of these. But I was thinking about flesh and blood people, human beings, people in our lives. Now think about this. Go with me. I have a tendency to make a 2.5 minute long story last 18.5 minutes. I'm not attempting to do that here, but I've got to explain this. And yes, watch those things back there and see if they move. Well, there they go. Ducking behind trees already. We are not alone. All of us, we have family, we have friends, we have acquaintances, we have neighbors, we have co-workers, we have members of whatever groups we belong to that we come into contact with. So many people, okay? I still am of the belief that most people are good. Period. I know it doesn't seem like that sometimes because the ones that aren't so good, maybe the ones that just are kind of insulting, maybe they're mean to us, maybe they're hurtful, they leave wounds, and sometimes those wounds heal, but those wounds that heal leave scars. But they are not the majority of the people that we come into contact with in our life. They are the minority. Unfortunately, it's like I call them the loud minority. You've got the silent majority. It's always kind of hard to get a gauge on what's really going on within a society because most people just kind of keep their views to themselves. But then you got the ones that, go on and on like a big loud gong. You think they're the majority because they're just so loud, but they're not. It's like bad people in our lives. They're really not the majority. They are the minority. So as we age, if we're paying attention, okay, and if we're listening to our instincts, we're listening to our guts, we learn to identify people relatively quickly. We still get snowballed at times, but we're able to separate the wheat from the chaff, the good from the bad, and we have a choice. Here's what I'm getting at. I'm spending time with my friend today who just found out his friend died. And I'm not trying to be gloomy with this video. I'm out of sorts, finding out a good friend of mine has cancer. And I'm praying for the best. I'm hoping for the best, wishing him well. And, he likes to say that he's not the one who's calling the shots in his life. God is. He's just one of the bit characters on the stage. And he was talking about that again today with this news. And I believe him. And I have faith in that. And, but I felt, despite, getting this not so pleasant news and the feelings that come with that and being so miscombobulated that I have to shoot this video twice today. Because the first one I was too out of sorts. I don't even know what, I'm kind of rambling now thinking about it, but I am grateful that I got to spend 2.5 hours with my friend today. I'm grateful for every minute I've got to spend with him in the past. And I've known this guy for about 20 years. We lost touch when I left the area and lived overseas for many years. And I will be grateful for every minute that I get to spend with him going forward. And I'm hoping for the best. I hope he lives well into his 90s. I hope he's got another 20, 30 years to spend with me eating marginally okay Mexican food at one of the dozens of places in town where we can get Mexican food. And some really good Indian food at this one spot we like to go to. But that's story for another time. But I stopped and I thought, because all those the entities in that image, we know one is good. We know one is really, really, really good. We don't feel threatened by the rest. We know there are bad people in the world. I get to choose who I spend my time with. My wife and my son, who I love and who love me tremendously. I choose to spend as much time with them as I possibly can. And it's possible for me to spend a lot of time with them, and I do. So we're almost always together. Then outside of that, and I've said this before, time is the most precious, most valuable asset any of us have. If we waste money buying things we don't need, if we invest money in an investment that, bottom falls out and we lose everything, we can always make money back. We can work for more money. We can earn more money. We can make better investments next time around. But time, once you spend it, you don't get it back. That's why instead of focusing on, maybe vertically challenged individuals who live under bridges, being scared to death that there's so many of them out there, because there's really not. They might sound like the majority. They might come across as a majority. They might leave the impression that they're the majority because maybe the pain they inflicted was so painful. But they're truly the minority. I can choose to avoid those people once now everybody gets a fair chance, but once I've identified you as, I've learned a new term today. I don't know how I missed this. Narcopath. I guess it's a combination of a narcissist and a sociopath. A narcissist, whatever, bad person. Okay. Why would I spend a minute not just in the presence of that person once I've identified them. But why would I spend any time up here in my head trying to figure that person out or wondering why they said what they did or why they did what they, what, because that has everything to do with them and nothing to do with me. My time is limited. The special people in my life, their time is limited. I'm going to get the two together and make sure the time is spent together. Like my friend today, you know, who just found out he's got cancer. He just lost his friend. I bet he'd love to have had another, you know, maybe okay at best Mexican dinner with, there's a couple really good Mexican restaurants in town. We just didn't go to one of them today. We went to a Mexican restaurant that wasn't very good. Of course, I'm not going to say where it was. You know, I don't want to do that, but we just won't be going back probably. But I bet my friend would like to have one more day with his friend. I get to have another day with my friend because we're going to meet again probably next week. But I get to have the rest of today with my wife and my son and tonight. And so what's that have to do with the creepy image? Okay. Life is short. Time is precious. Let's not spend it all trying to figure things out that we have no influence over, and that has no influence over us anyway. Once we've identified the good entities in our lives, like White Boy from the image, like our family members who love us back unconditionally, and like our true friends who enjoy our time and who enjoy us simply for us, not because they want something out of it or they feel they have something to gain. Those are the ones we need to focus on. Those are the ones we need to think about. The rest of it, it's a waste of time. None of us are promised tomorrow. Our time is limited. So how do you want to spend it? Kind of got a wake-up call today with my friend. So I just, I don't spend a whole lot of time. Like I think a lot of people thought from that video I made yesterday when I was talking about, reading the comments from the vertically challenged individuals who live under bridges, praying for them, then banning for them. I don't read the entire comment. Once I see that's where they're going, I stop. So, I mean, they'll write a paragraph or a page, and once I see it's negative, insulting, whatever, I stop because I just don't even want to let that stuff get in my head. And I just say, God, here's somebody who, we're all sick. I'm sick, but some are sicker than others. But here's somebody that obviously isn't in pain. And I say this prayer, please bring this individual the same health, wealth, and prosperity you have so blessed me and my family with. And I mean it. And it's, the people in the gutter of the internet, social media. It's the people in real life that I might come into contact with who maybe rub me the wrong way. Don't engage. Exit their presence, say that prayer, and then never re-enter their presence or make sure to go out of my way that in such a way where they're not allowed to re-enter mine. But then let it go. And then spend the time with, and yes, I do ban those people in the gutter of the internet here in social media. Because that's how I do it in real life. Somebody's insulting to me or my family, or they're just like that in real life. I certainly don't go out and look that guy up again and say, I'm going to go spend more time with that guy so he can tell me more about how much I suck. No, you don't internalize it. Pray for them because they're obviously in a lot of pain. They obviously are in a lot of misery. Getting out of bed for them is probably not a pleasant experience. There's been times in my life when that's been the situation for me, so I know that pain. I thank the God to my understanding that I no longer live with that pain, and it's a pain I don't want anybody, I would not want anybody else to live with, so we do pray for them. But then we avoid them. But then we choose to spend the time with the people that matter, the people who are positive, the people whom, once we're around them and we leave, we feel better than we did before we got with them. And I know, despite the bad news today of my friend's friend dying and finding out he has cancer, when I left after hanging out with him for 2.5 hours, despite that food not really being that good, I felt a lot better than I did before we got together. And I was in a pretty good mood, feeling pretty good anyway. So just remember that, folks. Let's not spend too much time trying to figure out what's pushing the buttons of the bad. Let's focus on spending our time with the good. So I hope you got something out of that. Maybe I won't be so miscombobulated next time. I hope to see you then here at the PBS the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch show.